YouTube! What's up? It's your favorite oddball, Ryan Kelley. Today's video is common questions actors get. And just so happens, coincidentally, I happen to be an actor. So hopefully I have some answers for you guys. Now, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Ryan Kelley. I live in Los Angeles and I've been doing this a long time. Some of you might be in here because you recognize me from Teen Wolf. Others, Prayers for Bobby, Smallville, Ben 10. There's a list of things you could be in here for. But for those of you that don't know who I am, you're not really missing much. But before you leave, make sure you check out the whole video. And if you really like it, make sure you give it the thumbs up, all right? Let's get right into the video, guys. Do actors really kiss on camera? Of course we kiss on camera. I mean, it's not like they take digitally enhanced actors that have been on a show or movies and make them kiss all of a sudden. No, they're real people, they're really kissing. A lot of times you don't really see what's going on inside the mouth, so a lot of kisses on camera are just with open mouth, you know? Like a fish. If the movie or TV show is artistically angled a certain way and they are a little bit closer in on the lips or this or that and they want to see tongue, they'll ask for that, or it's sort of a conversation you would have with the person you're doing the scene with. But a lot of times in most kissing scenes you don't see what's going on and it's just simple movie kissing, as they call it. It's not romantic at all. Which leads me into the next question. What are love-making scenes like? Well, number one, they are not romantic. A lot of times when people ask me that, they're like, well, how do you not get excited during a scene like that? Or is it really intense? Like, do you feel like it's the real thing? No, not at all. You have a set full of people watching you. So there's sometimes 50 or more people watching you pretend to make love with someone. And it's super awkward and it's super weird. You have huge hot lights beaming on you at all times. Now, sometimes they will do closed sets on certain movies, you know, that show a little bit more, or they really want it to feel authentic, they will do a closed set. Every set is a little bit different. It depends on how intense the scene is, but it's not romantic at all. My first scene like that, I was super nervous, I was super embarrassed. I was like, I've never done this on camera. Am I gonna make it look real? It was just so weird. It just felt like any other scene. You know, I had a bunch of people around telling me what to do. And in fact, when you're trying to like be romantic to kiss someone, you know, they'll be like, Ryan, put your left shoulder back and show, you know, put your face more to camera. So you have to go like this and like, does this look sexy? It's just a weird thing, and it's just something you kind of do. There's no romance in on-set magic. They make it look like that through editing, but it's not romantic. Sorry to break it to you guys. Do actors really smoke in scenes? That kind of depends on the actor. If you actually smoke in real life and it doesn't bother you, you're probably gonna wanna smoke cigarettes. You enjoy it, so you're gonna bring the tobacco that you like and you're gonna smoke that. The only experience that I have, I did a film called Mean Creek when I was 17. So there was a couple of us minors that were supposed to be smoking, and obviously you can't smoke at that age, so they gave us this herbal fake tobacco. Honestly, I had smoked a cigarette at that point. I had tried it in my life, and the herbal stuff was way worse than a real cigarette. The herbal stuff gave me a crazy headache, and I've actually heard other people say that as well. Like it's intense. I don't smoke cigarettes, so if I do a smoking scene, I'll probably do tobacco, I think. I don't really know. That's a question that I'll answer one day if I ever have to do it. But a lot of actors, every actor is different. Some smoke the herbal stuff, some smoke real cigarettes, or real tobacco for that matter. Do actors really drink on set? You're not supposed to, because here's the reason why. It's a workplace, you know, it's a professional job. You have actors in unions, you have safety regulations. There's a lot of people's jobs on the line. So if someone got drunk on set and hurt themselves, that's a huge liability for insurance reasons. They don't want you to do that. You're not supposed to drink on set. I know of actors who have gotten drunk for a certain scene or this or that. A lot of times it's when it makes sense for them. If you have a scene in the morning where you're supposed to be hammered and then a scene right after where you're supposed to be normal, complete, like days later, you can't get drunk. That's not gonna make sense, right? So typically no. However, I do have a story where I was shooting a project and then one day I had one scene, and that scene was I was supposed to be pretty drunk. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a couple shots in my trailer and then I'm gonna go to set. I'm not gonna tell anyone. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna feel loosey-goosey, and maybe I'll be a better actor because of it, because I'm not really acting. I'm actually pretty tipsy. So on this particular day, they rushed me to set. So I took my couple shots and I was feeling pretty good and it started to kick in on me. And then I sat around for hours. By the time I actually shot the scene, I didn't feel it at all. It was a waste. So it backfired on me. I didn't have any effect from that at all. In fact, I was just tipsy in the morning, and then I waited around all day and then shot my scene completely sober. Do actors watch their own movies or television shows? The answer to that is simple. Very rarely do I know actors that like watching themselves. Think of it like this. If you ever listen to yourself on a voice recording, you know, like a voicemail, You sound completely different. You're like, oh, I sound like that? And your friend's like, no, you sound normal, but it sounds different to you. Well, it's even worse when you watch yourself. So when you're watching yourself act, we're very critical of ourselves. So I'm picking out all the things that I'm doing wrong, or at least I think I'm doing wrong, or like, oh, I did a scene where I did that better. Why did they choose that? Or why did I itch my ear right there? Why I'm looking that way? Oh, I delivered that line. You know, we're very critical of ourselves. So yes, we watch ourselves. You definitely learn from watching yourself, but it's extremely hard to do. I hate it. It's one of my least favorite things to do is to watch myself. I sit and I cringe. I know some actors that won't watch themselves at all. I've worked with actors that have never seen anything that they've done. They don't want to. And I have worked with a couple actors who enjoy watching themselves. And I always find that a little bit weird, but you know, that makes sense with the whole actor vibe going on. Some people just can't get enough of themselves. Do you memorize all your lines or just for that scene? Typically, especially for instance on Teen Wolf, you guys, we would get what we were working the night before. So you're working that day, you know, you're focused on what you've already memorized and you're working on that day, and then you get home and you try to unwind for a little bit, and then you start working on your lines for the next day. Some days you don't work, so you kind of have a little leeway, or you know, like, oh, maybe, you know, if I'm working Wednesday and Friday, maybe on Thursday I'll go over my lines a little bit, but Thursday night I'm definitely cramming my lines for Friday. Everyone is different. I did a project called Stolen Summer, Armin Mueller-Stahl. We did a table read, and now he's from the old school, and in the old school you memorized always everything as quick and as fast as possible. I've worked with some old school actors that like know everything, like they're so professional, they know how many steps every time. It's a little bit different. I feel like the new age is a little bit more natural, and we try to do things less robotic, but that's my opinion, and I wouldn't say some of those actors I worked with are robotic. It's just a different style, it's just a different generation. But Armin Mueller-Stahl, when we sat down for a table read, Hayden Panettiere was in it, and Armin was off book from start to finish. I was flabbergasted, and he was in the movie a lot, and he had tons and tons of lines, and in fact, many, many monologues. It was insane, and he just said that's the way he grew up, that's how he learned theater, you know, and that's the way he did it. I mean, I can't do that. So I learn it the night of. I know what I'm working on the next day, and that's what I focus on. But typically, you know, most people nowadays, at least most people that I've worked with, and most projects that I've worked on these days, you know, you don't know everything right off the bat. You know, you learn the stuff, you learn the material the night before you shoot it. I love this next question. How much food do you really eat in a scene? Or do you spit it out? Do you swallow it? What's the deal? Typically, no. You try to not eat too much, because here's the thing, there's something called continuity in a scene. If you're shooting a scene, you have to keep matching what you're doing so that when they cut back and forth between takes, or the editor, he can chop back and forth and it's still, you're doing the same thing. You know, so if you're halfway through a scene and you finish your plate, well, every take you should be finished with your plate at that time. Otherwise, if it starts where, you know, you see your plate's halfway empty and then another scene is full again, but it's later on, it doesn't make sense. It's called continuity. So a lot of times you'll see actors kind of like taking little baby bites. You see a lot of times they're moving food around, making it seem like they're eating, but they're not actually eating. Again, everyone is different, but if I challenge you to watch one of your favorite movies, or next time you see a dinner plate movie or something at lunch, watch how little they actually eat. I've definitely ruined some lunches and some dinners on set because I ate so much during a food scene that I didn't plan on doing. But you're trying to match it, trying to do continuity. How long is a typical day? Every day is different. So if you're a main actor, if you're the main actor of a TV show, your days are probably gonna be long, always. If you're in every scene, you're there 16, 14, 12-hour days. Some sets are known, certain directors and producers are known for doing like 8-hour days or 10-hour days and cutting it off hard right then and there, trying to keep it a consistent, easy day. But some shows are notorious for going past and getting behind. And when you get behind, you know, you can do 16-hour days. On Teen Wolf during season finales, sometimes we were doing 20-hour days, and that's just because we have so many pickup scenes that we're trying to pick up and cramming in this massive mega episode with tons of actors. I've done projects, or I've been the lead of movies where I'm slammed 24/7. You're just exhausted. It can be intense. There's a lot of pressure on lead actors and actresses who are carrying shows or carrying a movie. You know, you have to get everything in, but every day is different. You know, you want to keep it around a healthy work day. You know, you want 10 hours of dream, 12 hours a lot of times on sets, but they can go longer. I've done 20+ hour days and it's intense. Do you ever get nervous when you're hired? Absolutely. Especially if you're coming onto a set that's an already well-oiled machine, as I've said before. You know, if everyone already has relationships, you know, everyone has their inside cliques, and it can be intimidating because you're coming onto a family basically, and you're the new kid on the block, and you're like, are they gonna like me? Oh, it's definitely nerve-wracking. Also, you know, for instance, in movies where everyone is new at the same time, you know, you can be nervous of portraying the character as you want it to be, you know, like it can be intense. Think of your first day on a job. Nerve-wracking, right? It's the unknowns. You don't know if people are gonna like you, you don't know if the director is gonna be nice, or if they're gonna hate you, or if they're gonna be mean on you, if they're gonna pick on you. You just don't know. So it's the unknowns that really makes you nervous, just like in anything though. First day of school. Think about, you know, first day at a new school, or going into college for your first time, like every new class, you're like, hey, it can be weird. Do you rehearse kissing scenes? No, I don't. I mean, maybe some actors want to do that, but typically no. I mean, a lot of times when you're rehearsing, if you're supposed to go to a kissing scene, it'll be like this. You're saying your lines, and then when you go into kiss, you get like this close. Try not to breathe on them. Look around, like, got it, pull out, and then continue your lines. You don't need to rehearse that. Save the magic for when the camera's actually rolling. Do you play a dead body, or is it a prop? Depending on the project, typically you're probably gonna play yourself as a dead body if you're just laying there for a quick little scene, or if blood's coming out, or you've just been shot. I did do a film called Mean Creek where Josh Peck from Drake and Josh ends up dying. We had a fake body that looked exactly like him. It was eerie, but that was because a lot of the scenes that we had was his dead body on the shore with us, you know, with us in the foreground, or he was in the background, and there was many scenes where you could just barely see him, you know, so they didn't want him laying around on the wet sand 24/7 because there were so many scenes with that they got a fake body. Josh had a good laugh about it and was a good sport about it. But typically you play yourself as a dead body unless, you know, the body is prominent in scenes, and then they're gonna have a fake one. How often do you work on your craft? Hopefully all the time. Acting is a muscle. The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. Or the more you keep doing it, you know, the sharper you'll be. It's just like anything. If you play the violin and you haven't practiced for 5 years, when you pick that up, you're probably gonna be pretty rusty, right? I noticed when I would go on long vacations or on hiatuses from filming that when I get back to set, I was a little bit rusty. So on those downtimes where you're not working, you know, hopefully you're staying in class, keeping your skills sharp, so that when you get back on set, it's not, you know, you're not like, whoa, I haven't done this in a while, this is weird. If you're new and you're just starting off, try to find a class, you know, that's not too expensive, you know, you're not gonna break your bank, but the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. How do you get into character? Every project is different, every role is different. Some roles that you're playing, you're playing a real character, someone that was alive in the past or is still alive today. So obviously that's gonna change some things. You know, you're gonna be able to watch some footage, read some books, read diaries, talk to family members, friends, maybe even talk to the person if they're still alive. That changes things. If you're playing a fictional character, talking to the director, talking to the writer to help fill in some of the holes that maybe you can't get from the script. If I'm trying to make the role realistic and I'm having trouble with making a scene feel natural, what I try to do personally is I try to think what Ryan would do, what I would do in this situation. So if it's a horror scene and I'm running away from someone and I'm trying to make this feel natural, I think, what would I do? Then, once I have that, and that's like what is natural and what a human would do, or what I would do, I then switch my brain back over to the character and think, okay, well, this character's not like this character's timid, not confident in that aspect, so they're gonna do something a little bit different. Okay, so instead of doing that, he would be like this. Now, there's also some roles that are so far removed from who you are as a person that you can't think like that at all. You have to just completely play something so different than what your natural instincts are. Every role is gonna be different, every actor is gonna have a different formula to how they go about. But, you know, simple one is just reading the script, right? Starting off simple, plain, and easy. First, understand what you're gonna be doing. The last question that I'm gonna show you guys is my least favorite. And that is when someone comes up to you and goes, oh my gosh, I know you. What, you're an actor, right? How do I know you? Well, how do I know you? Tell me. And you have to sit there and you go, you have two options. You either play dumb, you know, you sit there and go, no, I get that a lot, right? Yeah. Or you start listing your projects, you know, you think of the most popular one that you've done that they might know you from, and then when they say, no, that's not it, you go down to the next one. No, I never saw that. No, I don't even know what that is. No, that's not it. What? Oh, maybe I don't know you. And, you know, you just sit there and you get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not fun when you're sitting there trying to list off the things that you've done and they have no idea. So you're just like, well, I don't know how you would know me. If you don't know me, then you don't know me. You know, you're trying to obviously not be a dick and be nice, but sometimes it's definitely weird when they come up all excited and then they're just like, oh, I don't know you, never mind. You know, and you're like, oh, okay. Or another one that gets me a lot is, oh, wait, you're an actor? You know, they'll listen to a conversation that you're having with someone else, or somehow they figure out you're an actor, and like, oh, you're an actor? Oh, my daughter probably knows who you are. You should call her. Here, let me talk to her. And you're like, hello? Yeah, what have you done? What do I know you for? Your mom just put me on the phone with you. I don't think you know me. You don't know me. You know, it can be awkward. There's definitely sometimes certain people in life make things awkward, and there's nothing worse than trying to sell yourself as an actor, and they're just like, no, never seen you. Well, why are we having this conversation to begin with? And there you have it. Some common questions actors get. Hopefully I answered all your questions, but if not, write them down in the comments below and maybe I'll get to them in another video. If you're new, make sure you like and subscribe, and as always, toodles!